Hello everybody, in this video I will be doing an update on the 2024 presidential election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. To start off this video, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the safe states for Donald Trump. It'll consist of Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska and at large, and Nebraska's 1st and 3rd congressional district, and then we'll do Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, and Alaska will also be going to Trump by over 10 points. Iowa and Ohio, they got close to double digits last cycle. This cycle, we've seen these states trend a little bit to the right, so they'll go to Trump by over 10 points. In the state of Florida, we're going to see Trump win by over 10 points as well. For example, as we could see here in 2022, the polling suggested that Marco Rubio in the Senate would win by about 8 to 9 points. However, he won by 16 points right here. So he did a lot better than the polls. And the polls are showing Trump leading by about 8 to 9. Some of them are in double digits, but not all of them. However, I think Trump will overperform the polls by a few points. Now we're going to fill out the safe Democratic states. That'll consist of the West Coast. We'll have Hawaii. We'll have Illinois. We'll have all of these New England states, along with Washington, D.C., Maine's 1st congressional district, New York, and then we'll also throw in Colorado. It went double digits in 2020. It looks like the state is just trending more and more to the left as we saw in the midterm, so it's definitely going to be double digits for Biden there 2024. Okay, Maine's 2nd district is going to go to Trump by double digits. It got close in 2020, but this rural district is trending more to the right, and Trump does better in those areas. Alright, now to the likely Republican state. It'll be one today. Just one likely Republican state. That'll be the state of Texas. In 2016, the state, Donald Trump won it by about 8 to 9 points, around that range, against Hillary Clinton. In 2020, his lead got all the way down to 5 points. That was because there was less third-party vote share among the Democrats. This cycle, there's more third-party options, so we're going to see Trump take the state of Texas by at least 7 points, probably somewhere between 7 to 9 points, since there'll be more third-party ticket splitting. Now we'll go to the likely Democratic states. Joe Biden will win the state of Virginia by a likely margin. In 2020, he won it by just over 10 percentage points. However, this state is typically not that high of Democratic turnout because we had high turnout in Northern Virginia or the DC suburbs. So we'll see that turnout dip a little bit in 2024, and we'll see Joe Biden take the state by probably around 6 to 7 percentage points this time around. And in the state of New Mexico, this will also be a likely Democratic state. Joe Biden took the state by close to 11 points in 2020. As we see here, Hispanics, not necessarily in this state, but mainly Florida and Texas, they're trending hard to the right. In New Mexico, we've got some of those Hispanics. We'll see it trend a couple points to the right, but not like Florida and Texas. So it'll bring it down to about 9 points for Biden in this state. And there'll also be more of a third-party vote share. And also New Hampshire, that will be a likely Democratic state in 2020. Well, in 2016, the state got fairly close. Donald Trump almost won it. However, Hillary Clinton still won it by a tilt margin. However, though, in 2020, the state has trended several points to the left. And it looks like the state is maintaining that lead. So it's going to stay at a likely blue margin, probably a similar margin to 2020. And Maine at large will also be a likely Democratic state. In 2016, it got relatively close, not close like New Hampshire. In 2020, it also trended a little bit to the left. However, it looks like Maine is he's got his first district trending to the left a little bit and the second district trending to the right. So overall, probably cancel out in the end, and Maine at large will be a little bit narrower than 2020. And we'll go to the lean states. We'll start off with North Carolina. We're going to put this in the lean Republican. In 2020, Donald Trump won it by the narrowest margin since 2000. And then 2008, it flipped for Obama. And then after that, 2012, 2016, 2020, 2020 was the narrowest victory for Republicans there in the presidential level. However, in the midterms, we saw the eastern part of North Carolina trend pretty decently to the right. However, the more urban counties didn't really trend much to the left at all. They remained pretty stagnant. However, in 2024, we might see those urban ones trend a tiny bit to the left, but I think this eastern North Carolina section is going to hold strong. It's not going to trend back to the left. It's going to probably maintain what it did in 2022. So instead of winning by about 1 percentage point, Trump will win it by about 3 percentage points. As we see in the polls, the lead is about 2 to 3 percentage points. I see Trump is going to take it by about 3, not 7 or 8. Like some of these polls are even more. I don't expect him to take it that much, just about 3%. All right, in the state of Georgia, this will also be a lean Republican state. As we saw in 2020, Joe Biden narrowly flipped the state blue, but this was because the Atlanta area had really high black turnout for Democrats for Joe Biden. However, many of those voters are not very pleased with the way Biden is handling such things, such as the economy and inflation. So we'll see that turnout dip in Georgia, in the Atlanta suburbs, which will bring Trump to about a 2% victory. Probably pretty close to North Carolina, but not quite as much. However, it's going to go red this time. And in 2022, the Senate, Raphael Warnock was able to win that one. Herschel Walker was just not a good fit for that state. He was not a good candidate to win for the Senate there. But Brian Kemp, he won by a good bit more than he did in 2018. In 2018, he got very close to losing the state. However, in 2022, he won it by a likely margin. So I think Georgia is still overall slightly more of a Republican state in this cycle. Now we'll go to the lean Democrat states. We'll start off with Nebraska's 2nd district. I see this is going to go a lean margin for Joe Biden. As we'll see in the polls here, Trump led one of the polls right here, the first poll conducted. However, on a Republican funded poll, even right here, Joe Biden led this district by about 5 points. As we see here, still waiting for more polls to come through, but we could talk about in 2020. In 2016, this district was narrowly red. However, in 2020, the district flipped blue by a likely blue margin because the Omaha region was trending hard to the left. However, in 2022, they redistricted the 2nd district, making it a little bit more Republican favored. However, I still think it's going to go to Joe Biden by a lean margin just because of how populated the Omaha region is and that the redistrict didn't favor Republicans too much, but made it a little more Republican favored. So it's going to stay lean for Joe Biden. And also the state of Minnesota, this will also be a lean victory for Biden. It's going to be a lot closer than it was in 2020. Because in 2016, the state was under 2 percentage points for Hillary Clinton because it had a high third-party vote share. However, in 2020, the Minneapolis area trended to the left, which made the state go to Joe Biden by about 7 percentage points, and there wasn't such a third party vote share. However, in 2024, we'll see a higher third party vote share, so that'll get the state closer. I think Joe Biden will win the state by about 2 percentage points, maybe 3, somewhere around there. Yeah, as we see in the polling, Joe Biden's leading. That one's by two, around there. These older ones by 8. I don't think he's going to win it by that much. Only poll Trump is leading in is his sponsored poll right here. These three. He's leading by 3 and 5. I don't expect him to win by that much. I don't expect him to win the state as of now. Could he win it on a good night? He could. However, though, Joe Biden is favored more likely to win the state for sure. And now we'll go to the tilt states. We'll start off with Nevada. This is a state where Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton won by very similar margins. However, Clark County trended to the right in 2020, and it continued to do so in 2022 in the midterms. The Democrat won the Senate by less than a percentage point, and the governors flipped red by a little bit over a percentage point. So it shows that the state Republicans can win there, but it's a fairly close state either way. And with Clark County shifting to the right, I believe Donald Trump will narrowly be able to win the state. Polls show here that Trump is going to win by over 5 percentage points. These newer ones by 3. I don't expect it to be like that. I expect it to be very close and narrow. As of now, put a tilt Republican. And now we're going to do state of Arizona. As we see here in the state of Arizona, Trump is leading just about all the polls except these two. One of them he's tied. The other one he's up by 2, Joe Biden. So the thing I've got to say about here is for this one, in 2022, the governors in Arizona, Katie Hobbs was able to beat Kari Lake on this one. Even though if we look at the polls right here, Kari Lake led just about all the polls by 3%, 2%, 4%, around that. Katie Hobbs rarely led any polls, and it'd be by 1%. So it looks very similar to this, where Joe Biden is leading just about one poll, and just about all of them Trump is leading by a decent amount. Just the way this state has trended left and is not liking MAGA Republicans, I believe that it'll go to Joe Biden again. It'll probably be under a percentage point, but it won't be quite as close as 2020, but it'll still be fairly close. And now we'll go to the Rust Belt. These will be the closest states for the whole election. We'll start off with Wisconsin. As we saw in 2016, it flipped red. Well, this applies to all 3 of these Rust Belts. It flipped red, and then 2020, Joe Biden was able to flip it back blue. The reason it was red in 2016 was because the third party vote share was high. Because in 2020, Republicans increased their percentage in all 3 of these states. However, the Democrats increased it even more to where they're able to flip blue. But starting off at Wisconsin, it was the closest out of the 3, and in 2022, they were able to re-elect Ron Johnson, even though he's unpopular. He's a Republican. He was able to win. However, in the governors, it stayed blue. It won by even more than in 2018. However, in the polls, Biden is leading this one by 2, and it's even. This is a Democrat-sponsored poll right here, Democrat-funded. These other ones, Trump is narrowly leading right here to Biden, Trump, and these two are tied, so it's going to be really close. However, since third party is more of a factor this election, I think Trump is going to narrowly take Wisconsin by under a percentage point. In the state of Pennsylvania, we'll do that one next. I believe is in 2016 it flipped red, 2020 it flipped blue. The Philadelphia suburbs were going pretty hard for Joe Biden. However, Philadelphia County itself already trended a little bit to the right. I think that's going to trend even more to the right in 2024, and the turnout in the Philadelphia suburbs are not going to be as high this time. So, and in most of the polls, which these two were Biden leading, they're Democrat funded, for example. There are a couple other Biden polls. Where's one? He led by 10. That's an outlier. And I mean, polls don't show everything, but for what we're seeing, Trump is leading most of the polls here. I don't expect him to win by a whole lot here. I think it's going to be close. Last time I had Joe Biden win in the state. However, though, Trump is maintaining a lead in the state. And I'm going to change this from tilt Democrat to tilt Republican. The final state is Michigan. I think this will be the closest state out of all of them. In 2016, it flipped red by the narrowest, but however, in 2020, it was the least close out of these three Rust Belt states. Michigan, though, 2022, Michigan and Pennsylvania, their governor races. The Democrat won by double digits because the Republican candidates were not good for the state. And the Democrats were relatively popular that they were able to win by a lot. However, in 2024, this is not the same year. It's a presidential year, and these Rust Belt states usually tend to like Donald Trump better than other Republicans. And in the polling, it's really close. Biden's leading these two polls that are Democratic funded. These other ones I've seen go back and forth from Biden and Trump. Usually Trump will lead one poll and then Biden will lead the next. It's very, very close. Well, in this area, we have the white working class and they in the auto industry, and these people, they're not very happy with the way the economies ran under Joe Biden. It's going to be a really hard state to call, but as of now, I think that it's going to be a tilt Republican state, along with Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. And these states, these three states, have been voting together for past several election cycles. And could it break this year? The streak could break this year. However, as of now, I see these states, all three, voting narrowly for Donald Trump. A lot of it because of the third party vote share will help dip the Democrat percentage and then will help Donald Trump win these three states narrowly. So this is how I see the election happening as of now. Donald Trump wins with 301 electoral votes and Joe Biden 237. Joe Biden's able to keep the state of Arizona, which he flipped in 2020. However, Donald Trump is able to flip back these three Rust Belt states. He's able to flip Georgia, and he's able to add Nevada into his column. So thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe. And leave a comment whether you agree or disagree. Bye.